Oh my goodness, what happened? She's not in a car. Yes, I'm making, this is the first video in my office. I ordered my desk, and no, you can't see the office yet, 'cause it's not done. But I ordered my desk, and if y'all have never heard of Wayfair, Wayfair.com, I feel like Ben Shapiro, like I'm plugging something. I'm not plugging Wayfair, I promise. But on the down low, we moved into our house a couple years ago, and as we were designing our house, my dad and my stepmom had just moved into their house, and I just fell in love with she has amazing design abilities, and I kept asking her where she got her different stuff, and she kept telling me Wayfair, Wayfair. Oh, you need to go Wayfair. It is amazing. It's inexpensive. It's just so good. Anyway, but be prepared. If you've never been to Wayfair.com, it is crack. I have to use a timer because I'll stay on it forever. So good. So what is going on today? Mr. Kavanaugh. How about that Brett Kavanaugh, y'all? So they passed a vote. Well, Mitch McConnell passed a referendum or whatever it's called I forget the word for it, to push through the vote for Kavanaugh. Good thing, all good things. And it looks, as far as from what we've heard from Senate Democrats and of course Republicans, that the poor man, he's probably going to suffer from PTSD the rest of his life, but he's getting through. So that's good, obviously. It's so funny because I'm seeing all these reactions today on podcasts and different pundits and stuff, and all I can do, it's just funny to me. It's gotten to the point where I'm watching the left, and to see the mask just slipping off of the left is highly amusing to me. Is that bad? And I say that because first of all, Trump appointed Kavanaugh because he was the establishment pick, right? Had it been me, I would have gone full Amy Coney Barrett. I'd been like, girl, come on. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh. Their collective heads would have imploded. Every Democrat in Washington, their heads would have imploded. But he went with Kavanaugh. And Kavanaugh is just, like I said, he's an establishment pick. He's center of the road. And Trump picked Kavanaugh thinking that, okay, this pick is not going to make their heads rotate a la Linda Blair in The Exorcist. Well, we're not going to see any green bile projectile coming from their mouth. They never cease to amaze. Because their first objection to Brett, if we go back, I know it seems like it's been a year, but if we rewind, their first objection was that he's too conservative. He's too conservative. The issue here, let me just state this first. The issue here is that Kavanaugh is not, the reason we're not seeing the reaction with Kavanaugh, or the reason we didn't see the reaction with Gorsuch that we're seeing with Kavanaugh, is that Gorsuch was not replacing a justice of conservative bent, or a traditional, if that makes sense. There was not risk of a shift in power, like partisan power, which drives me insane. Let me just say this, it drives me insane. Civics 101 This is not a political appointment. The Supreme Court it's an apolitical body. That's the whole point of it. But since Kavanaugh is going to be a pick that could possibly, in the minds of the Democrats, shift the partisanship of the Supreme Court, he was too conservative. That was their first thing. Flipping out. He's too conservative. He's a constitutionalist. He thinks the Declaration of he thinks our founding fathers meant for our founding documents to be taken literally. Yeah, dummy. I want to know what the left thinks that our Constitution is. Like, who writes a document? Say I were to pen a letter today to my husband. I don't write a letter thinking, well, I need to take into account that in the future they're going to have flying cars and people on the moon. It's like, that's not how you write a document. That's not how you write a letter. You write a document for the reason that you write it, to be read and interpreted the way that you wrote it. The idea that the left has that the Constitution is a living document. I want to know what other documents that the left thinks are negotiable, or that we're to read and to imbue our knowledge to make it more right. It's like, if something is right, is correct, it's correct. It doesn't get more correcter, retards. It's not, the Constitution's not written in a different language that changes every 4 years, that you have to reinterpret. It means what it means, and it says what it says. That any other thought outside of that is completely asinine. And I obviously know why they do it. They do it because they want to be able to read the Constitution and to interpret it in a way that fits their ever-changing political agenda, to leverage their own power and what they want. I'm sorry, you don't get to do that. That's why the document was written. It is a dead document, and it's not for you to reinterpret. It's just ridiculous. So Brett is a constitutionalist. And they just can't have that. So, enter Ford, Blasey Ford, and the allegations of gang rape and, now he's a serial rapist. It's like watching the left show their true colors. Like I said, it's so amusing to me, because to the left, they understand. The left gets it. And this is why they've done so spectacularly well in the culture wars. They get it. They understand their enemy. Because conservatives, the libertarians, anyone really center to right of center, we value morality. We value the fundamental idea of objective truth, and that's what we cling to. And so they've weaponized that against us. They've weaponized morality. So if they can dig up or try to delegitimize a candidate or an individual based on their morality, that's what they will do. And so that's what they attempted with Brett Kavanaugh. Because they know which buttons to push with us. And it turns out that the FBI got the DeLorean working. They got that sucker fired up. And they're so, the FBI is so magic. that they didn't even have to, because Ford didn't even know the date or where exactly this allegedly took place. She didn't even know the year. The FBI is so good that they were able to go to the general time and area and figure it out. So we got the FBI report back that they wanted. And the seventh, I might add, seventh FBI investigation into Brett Kavanaugh. And they found nothing. Meanwhile, this poor man's entire life, I want to say this. Thank you, left. Thank you for officially delegitimizing legitimate claims and accusations of sexual assault. Thank you for doing that. Bra freaking O. Now, women that come forward, they're hurting women so badly. Seriously, 20 years they took us back with this. You're gonna weaponize rape, you psychopaths. Weaponize rape to leverage your own political agenda. I cannot think of anything more morally reprehensible than that. That is disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. So it turned into when they couldn't get enough corroborative evidence, because there's newsflash, 0.0%. None, no evidence, no, zero evidence. Zero witnesses. Any witnesses that she called forward didn't corroborate her story. They actually did the opposite. So it went from Kavanaugh as a serial rapist, and then at one point was a gang rapist, to, well, they couldn't get that to stick. So, okay, well, maybe not that, but he was drunk. He was a mean drunk. Well, okay, well, not a mean drunk, but he was a drunk. He was just a bad character, bad egg, that Brett Kavanaugh was a bad. Okay, well, okay, not a drunk. Maybe he's not a drunk, but he threw ice in a dude's face once in college. This is what they do. And I realized this. I realized they totally showed their character, their ability to wage this war so effectively. To me, like, I saw it the first time in 2008, in the 2008 election, when we gave them a candidate so pristine, so flawless, and Mitt Romney. Do you know anybody else? I think I would pay money if someone could present to me someone as pure as Mitt Romney. And what did they do? What was it? Oh, they said he strapped dogs to the roofs of cars. Let's see, what else? Oh, he had a binder full of women, was the other one. Oh, the best one. He wants to put y'all back in chains. We gave them the archetypal man, and they did that to Mitt Romney. Nobody. We could present the left with Jesus. Jesus himself, Lord in heaven. The Lord could walk down. He could just descend on the clouds like Obama did in his campaign with dry ice billowing, and they would say, CNN would come on and say, well, you know, this Jesus guy, I hear tell, he don't respect women. Yeah. You know, I heard this one time a dude told me that the story about how he's got these couple broads just marrying someone else, and he makes them wash his feet, and he hangs out with hookers. Yeah, let the one wash his feet. That's what they would say. Jesus himself. Jesus wouldn't be good enough. I'm not being hyperbolic. So Brett's going through, thank you, Lord. And the left, as per usual, it continues to just devolve into a level and state of madness that I really have a hard time comprehending, because their ploy did not work against Kavanaugh. Their ploy did not work, and he's going to sit on the Supreme Court. What's so beautiful is that when I say it's funny to watch, imagine, because we know what the left is. We've known this for a long time. Imagine though, people who aren't they're just not into politics. They don't follow politics. They don't really care that much. Or they vote Democrat because they've been led to believe that this is the party of compassion and morality and all of this. Imagine I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of a dude in 2018 and watching, if they saw 30 seconds of what's happened in the past 3 weeks. How terrifying would that be? They have revealed themselves. Congratulations, the left. You have effectively red-pilled a generation of men. It would scare the hell, if I was a dude and I saw what these people did to this poor man, it would legitimately terrify me for them to be in power. And they should be scared. You should be terrified for these people to be in power, because turns out that's what it is all about. Listen here. This whole shtick about compassion from the left, we know, us who know, that first of all, it's grade ABS. Anytime a government tells you, oh, we want to take care of you. We just want what's best for you. It's like bells should be going off. That should be like red flags everywhere. But what they've done now, and a side point as far as compassion is concerned, treating compassion as the ultimate virtue. I'm going to use the Jordan Peterson line that it always comes to mind. Go out in the wild. If compassion is the end all be all, do me a favor. Go out in the wild and try to take a cub from a mama grizzly bear. And then you tell me how beautiful compassion is. She will rip you to pieces. The idea that compassion in any way should be involved in the political process, like that should be the ultimate virtue. Truth is the ultimate virtue. Truth. And to sacrifice the truth for feelings that are just going to change. The whole shtick, and what now undecideds or soft Democrats understand and realize, is that this compassion play, that's all it was, is an act. It is authoritarianism masquerading as compassion. Because the left showed with Brett Kavanaugh exactly what they want. They want power. They want more power, more and more and more power. They're gluttonous. They want to sit at the table of the American citizen and just gorge on your rights. Your rights. That's all they care about. Compassion, my ass. Most Americans, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this, say that most Americans want what I want, just to be left the hell alone. It's like, we just want to be left alone. We want to be left alone, and we want other people to have the right to just be like left alone, same as us. That's not what the left wants. That's not what they want. And they've revealed themselves perfectly. Imagine too, I thought of this today. Looking at how quickly the left has shifted in its ideology. Because people say that the Republican Party or that conservatives have changed or somehow become more conservative. Perfect example. Think about Kennedy. Think about not the brother that leaves dead chicks at the bottom of ponds. President Kennedy. Think about his policies. The man was a Catholic. He was, and disregard the whole Maryland stuff. Men are going to be, stuff happens, whatever. And I'm not discounting. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just put that judgment aside. Policy solely. He was anti-abortion. He was, like I said, Catholic. He was against what he famously called secret societies. So against giving undue power to like the CIA and the FBI to infringe on the personal lives of American citizens. Against all that. If Kennedy were alive today, he would be, they would run him out of Washington. They'd call him alt-right. John F. Kennedy would be an alt-right personality to the left now. Because now, the Democratic Party, the DNC, don't get it twisted. I'm not about labels, like as far as like Democrat, Republican, whatever. I don't like collectivist thinking. The left, when I say the left, this is their base now. This is the Democratic base. Their base is Bernie Sanders. Their base, and that's not conspiratorial speech. Their base is legitimately an espoused socialist, like Venezuela, that government model of Venezuela, they want that here. That's their base now. It's Bernie Sanders who just wants his pudding cup. Sorry, that's my Ben Shapiro. My bad, Ben Shapiro. But seriously, that's how far left that they have swung. And they don't have a line. They don't have a line. There exists no line. And that's why I talk so much about truth. That's what's red pilling all of these people who were otherwise not real interested in politics. Dude, hardcore red pills. Passing around. It's going around like fentanyl is going around right now. People are waking up. They're waking up because, like I said, as a man, I'd be terrified for those people to be in power. And as a side note, don't think for 1 second that I don't have compassion for women. Like I said in my last video, I'm an adult child of sexual abuse. So the idea that I don't have empathy for legitimate victims is asinine. My anger stems from the fact that we have a political party that weaponized rape in order to acquire more power. That should scare dudes. It scares me. It scares me. I'm a chick. First of all, they're making us look bad. Second of all, women aren't going to be believed now. And I got a son sitting in the other room. I'm terrified when he grows up that these people might somehow obtain some power. Because apparently due process and the idea that you're innocent until proven guilty, none of that matters anymore. Apparently now you can be you can have your character obliterated. Public character assassination based on zero evidence. That's what the left is about now. Because a chick cried. You know, I don't know if you saw my video a couple weeks ago about Norm Macdonald. Bless his heart. He joins the group. He joins the likes of Brett Kavanaugh in crossing the left, where the Me Too movement is concerned. Norm Macdonald, who is a comedy genius, and I strongly believe that when comedy dies, if we can't use satire, when that begins to break down and that is no longer a unifying force, that's the beginning of the end. And Norm Macdonald has always been like an authoritarian weather vane. And he's done it for years. The man is brilliant and he is hysterical. And he did an interview, and in the interview, he made the comment about the Me Too movement. He said, I am relieved that some of the Me Too movement has begun to die down, because it started with, well, 1,000 women can't be lying. And then it went to, well, 10 women can't lie. Now it's, we should believe all women. And I'm like, what? That was his quote, almost verbatim. That was what he said. Oh my goodness. Ooh, you'd have thought Norm Macdonald had just done a Heil Hitler while walking down Washington Avenue reading Mein Kampf and like shooting puppies the way they acted. Crucified that man. Crucified Norm Macdonald. And I'm sorry, that was a very rational thing, and it almost prophetic, now that I think about it, thing to say about the Me Too movement. It's what we've all said, that yes, it did definitely have some legitimacy at first. There were some horrible people that needed to be called out. But it's like, you feminists are kind of doing what you do and like going a little crazy. Norm said it, and he felt the backlash. And this is the point I want to make in this video, is that Brett Kavanaugh, and because I'm going to come back to Norm Macdonald, but Brett Kavanaugh, I saw this morning that he had penned an op-ed to the New York Times. And the op-ed was essentially, I don't want to say apologize. It was him justifying himself for becoming emotional at a job interview where they were aggressively accusing him of being a gang rapist. Brett wanted them to know that that is not characteristic of him to stop apologizing to these people. Norm Macdonald, back to Norm, did the same thing. Why are you apologizing? If I was Brett Kavanaugh, he is a way better man, obviously, than I am. Because if I were him, I would still be screaming at these people. Stop apologizing. I get so tired of saying this. Norm Macdonald did it. Brett Kavanaugh did it. It's like Owen Benjamin, I think, is the only one that has not failed to take a knee. Why would you feed a monster? If you're speaking truth, or you're speaking your opinion that is based on objective truth, and a group of people like that comes against you and performs a character assassination on a cultural level, why would you apologize? Nothing is ever going to be good enough for them. Your apology means nothing to them. Stop apologizing. And if I'm wrong, there are times, because I know it, I'm a human being. I'm not Jesus. When I'm wrong, y'all will know it. Because I'm very critical of the things that I say, and I think through my ideologies, or my thought processes, and my opinions very carefully and obsessively before they come out my mouth. So when I do mess up, I'm going to be the first to tell you. But one thing that I will never do, that Brett Kavanaugh should not have done, nor McDonald should not do, Tim Allen, anybody, none of them, even crazy Alex Jones, is apologize for speaking truth. Do not do it. Because like I said before, why in God's green earth would I hire a vampire to work at a blood bank? Like, why would I hire a kleptomaniac to come and clean my house? Submission or to submit to these people and to bend the knee only means that you die last. That's all it means. And for my sake, like for me personally, I would rather speak truth and the last breath that slips out of my lungs be the truth and face the guillotine than to sacrifice the truth for other people's emotions and live just a couple years longer. Because guess what? Those couple years longer that you live, they ain't gonna be good ones. It means that instead of the guillotine, it'll be the gulag. What's more important? And this goes on a very fundamental level. In your life, and not to get preachy, but in your life, if you don't have a no in you, you damn well better find one. You need to find a no. You need to have the clearest line in the sand that you will not cross, that you will not concede that ground. Because all it takes is that 1 inch of concession. That's all it takes. And then you're gone. If you don't have truth, if you don't have objective truth to hold on to and to stand beside, no matter what, with the slings and arrows of the world around you, if you don't have that, you have absolutely nothing. That's why they want to shut us up. That's why I've had videos taken down, is because I say what I say and I mean what I say. It's like my daddy told me, and these are words I live by. Say what you mean what you say, and say it without being mean. That's it. It's easy. But in life, and especially as Christians, we cannot delude ourselves into thinking that compassion or a concern for people's feelings should ever supersede truth. Truth is the ultimate virtue, not compassion. And stating the truth, people probably aren't going to like it. You know what? Ask Tommy Robinson. They killed Jesus for talking truth. It's not easy. But if you don't have that, then you don't have anything. And that's what I have for today. I'm so happy that I feel horrible for that poor man. Oh, that poor man and his family, what the leftists put him through. If nothing good comes from this, but the fact that they've been revealed for who they really are, then that will have been a win. But it should never happen in the first place. And I think it's just a lesson to all of it. It was another reminder to me that it don't matter what you do. It don't matter who you are, how good you are. You're going to be attacked. So if you know you're going to be attacked, let it be because you're saying something that needs said. And because you refuse to speak a lie. Or you refuse to stay silent. Because when we stay silent and we let them control our language, then we become accessories to that lie. We become an accomplice to that gorging of power that I talked about. And I'm not willing to do it. Once you know the truth, there's nothing that can shut me up. They can't do it. Y'all have a great weekend and be blessed. And I hope all of y'all are gonna watch the Khabib McGregor fight. I'm so excited. And this is not gonna be popular, but again, I don't care. I love Conor McGregor. I do. It's because he's Irish. Like, he's a fellow Irishman and he's feisty. That's why. So I'm going to enjoy the fight, and I hope y'all watch it. I hope you enjoy it, and I just hope you have a great weekend. Be blessed, and I'll post another video soon. I love y'all.